Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps, it is I, your host with the most renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back in the yard of streams for another SmackDown breakdown part of Pitts and Sara's wrestling show, where we take no nights off. And I can't take no nights off alone. I take it with the best of the West. You can't forget about Sarah Marshall. Sarah, what's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello to you. How we doing? What's popping?
The heat.
Yeah, you look cold.
I wish.
Yeah. What's the temp? Give us the temp right now.
115.
There, that's a fake number. That is a fake number.
Oops. Hold on. What's
Stonks. That's gross. That was like 86 today here, and I was sweltering.
that? Yeah.
It's in an AC car today, though. That was kind of nice. But
well, and then look at the projections for all.
let's say 117. Is that a?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Like, how do you like that? It is insane that a part of this country, or just where people live, we'll say, not even in this country, but just where people live, it gets like that hot.
I know. I'm like, I don't understand. And to think that like people used to live here without central air.
Oh my God.
And that there are some people that still don't. Like some of the really old houses don't have central air. So like they have to use box air conditioners. And I'm like, how do you live? Why would anyone choose to live here? You know, that's why I say every year when it hits the summer, I'm like, I hate it here. I need to get out. And then I look at houses and stuff and I'm like, this is why I'll never get out. Because like I don't make 80,000, 100,000 a year.
That's true. Well, this isn't that type of gig.
No, unfortunately not. So
one day though. All right,
okay.
one day.
Okay.
We're gonna let's manifest a little bit. We got some peeps that would agree with us, and we're happy to be here with our peeps in the art of streams, because SmackDown last night, while I did obviously, I passed out because the champ has to get up at 4 a.m. Sarah, I will say I made it until probably the worst part. You could have fallen asleep. I mean, and it was right before Mr. L.A. Knight.
Mm-hmm.
So we rewatched it, and this is why I don't mind falling asleep during it right now, because then you just come home and then you rewatch it.
Mm-hmm.
I get to talk about it.
The beauty of recording.
It's incredible.
I don't know what I did with my life before.
No, I really don't. I feel like what I did before was WWE.com.
Yeah, YouTube. Yeah. For me though, we've only had recording since we moved to Arizona, because that like you had to pay extra, to do that. But we got it on one of our cable boxes. It was only one. But then like that technically records or whatever. But yeah, I'm like, I don't know what I would do without this. I don't know how we lived so long without it. So it's great.
Technology is good.
Yes, it is.
And
goodness. Sorry.
No, the heat makes you tired. I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah, and we'll just start things off, and you can lead us in there. But I just want to say that I liked how we started off SmackDown with Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like it's a nice change of pace. Feels like we're always opening with the Bloodline, or we're opening up with this faction and this faction.
Yeah,
now it's a nice feud, kind of what you were alluding to in other episodes, where it's for the title, but there's some underlining feuds within this little five fatal five-way whatever that's going on. So I was really okay with Bianca starting. I'm just let's get to the fight. Let's get to the match. That's where we're
at. I felt like this wasn't a segment that was necessary. It feels to me like it was a way to give Charlotte big entrance because they were in her home state. I feel like that was the only reason why they did this. because there was literally no point for them to be out there and to have this conversation. Like there was just no, it didn't do anything. Like they've already had these conversations. We already know I want to go for the title. Well, if you win it, then I want to go for the title. Well, I think you're gonna win the title. Well, I don't know, but like Asuka's not one to look over. Okay, well, I'm next in line. Like it was just all the same shit, just a different day. And I mean, Charlotte comes out and gets all the pyro and shit, and then you're like, oh, that's why they had this, because literally nothing was said. Like we can talk about what was said, but it's like Bianca was just like, I'm tired of waiting for my rematch, and that's why I'm getting it tonight. And then Charlotte comes out as if she just won the championship and is just like, I think you're gonna win, but if you do, I'm going to be next in line. Blah blah blah. Like it was just a cheap way to get Charlotte to get some applause, which is so corny. That's why
it's so
like,
bad.
The thing is, right, we're going to talk about another person that people feel like the way that their character is not believable. It just doesn't come off genuine. That's exactly the problem with Charlotte. It's just like pandering to the audience, which you get. That's what baby faces do. But it's just like, I don't know. It's just like cringy and just I don't know. It doesn't come off the same way as like other of the top baby faces. Like you want to talk about Cody Rhodes, who panders like crazy. I mean, there was just someone who he quote tweeted that said Cody stayed out for an extra 25 minutes after SmackDown just to take pictures and sign autographs around the arena.
He loves it.
Like 25 minutes after the show ended, he's just like chilling, walking around, talking to people. But it's like because Cody has always been a nice person. You know what I mean? So now that he's like at the top of the food chain, then it's just like, okay, you're seeing it so much more.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Charlotte
it's highlighted way more.
Yeah, Charlotte just, I think she tries too hard, and it's like the opposite of the one we're going to talk about later, where it's not genuine because I don't think she's a genuinely nice person. So it just comes off fake.
Yeah, it comes off absolutely plastic.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just, serving the tea early here, but
yeah, you're dumping some tea in some harbors.
But that's just how it feels. Like even I watched the clip, I think, and then I watched SmackDown, and I was just like, like it just makes me feel like if something makes me feel like physically uncomfortable when I'm watching it, then I know that it's probably not good.
That's how I felt during the Jungle Boy Jack Perry heel turn promo. Was where like you get that feeling where you're looking away, but like a little that. Like kind of like a copper tone type of look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh my
You're
God,
like, I feel like I should be watching this, but I don't want to be. And then you also don't want to be listening either.
Oh yeah. Earmuffs.
Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible. And it's that feeling. I totally understand what you mean. And that's I felt that a lot during this. Unnecessary. But the next, what was next? Oh, we're gonna go right into let's go into.
So then this just leads obviously the main event, I guess, which was on Asuka versus Bianca for the title. We all knew how this was going to end because we predicting this since the end of what was the last pay-per-view, Night of Champions.
Oh yeah, no, whatever. Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. Sorry, I'm like thinking so far. We knew that this was going to end up being a triple threat. So obviously this ends in a DQ. But the interesting part about this, in my opinion, was that Charlotte inadvertently hit Bianca with a boot, which of course, obviously, when you see it, it looks like she wasn't aiming for Bianca or whatever. But
it's a potato.
Yeah, but it's like, you kind of think that that's an added element to it to make it look like it was an accident, but it's like it's not an accident.
Oh, brilliant! Brilliant.
But yeah, I feel like this is a match that we want to see. No, even if we're not like the biggest fans of Charlotte. So, I mean, I'm not complaining about it, but I'm like not invested in the storyline. Like, I don't know. I just don't care right now. And I don't know what they can do to like make me care. But I think it's because of the predictability. There's certain times where things being predictable is okay. And I think other times when you've been able to predict it like weeks in advance and then it basically goes exactly how you thought it was going to go, you kind of already feel like I've seen this, even though you haven't, if that makes any sense. It's like,
no, I see what you mean. I am the other side of this. I am interested in this. Not super excited, but I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm actually will. For instance, I wanted to bring up before this match how Charlotte was going to leave. She's taking the night off. No
Mm-hmm.
problem. She's in
Mm-hmm.
her hometown. And then you see Io Sky and Bailey say, "Oh, we're gonna watch the match. We're
Yeah.
gonna have a close eye on it." And Charlotte just comes like a bat out of hell out of nowhere, and just like, "Oh, I'm back.
Mm,
Yeah, I'm gonna take an eye on it." And the way they did it too, not just interfering, but the ticket thing. I know
yeah.
it's an overdone cliche thing in wrestling, but I
Mm-hmm.
love it every time. I'm a sucker for it, and
Yeah.
especially to have them on both sides and the way that they concluded it with them interfering. It was very interesting, and I like the end of the match too, where she's gonna cash in. Io Sky's
Yeah.
gonna cash in. You think she's gonna cash in, and Asuka's just playing possum. It spits actually. She actually spits the mist into
Mm-hmm.
Bailey's face, and then runs off with her title. And what I'm getting from this is that we might actually see a fatal four way out of this. I think we might see a fatal four way out of this.
With who's the fourth?
Bailey.
Oh, okay.
Bailey's
I'm
gonna weasel her way into this match.
I mean, it's possible, and I feel like I would almost enjoy that more because I think it adds a little bit more of an unpredictability factor because as of right now, like I am not confident whatsoever that Asuka's going to walk out champion. Like I honestly would not be surprised if it's something where Charlotte wins and then is cashed in on. Um and I think that would be ridiculous because we've talked about it before. She's had what 14, 15 title reigns and there's some that are literally less than 2 minutes. And it's like she doesn't like those are not reigns that should be counted because you literally ended the match, got to hold up your title, didn't even exit the ring, and we're counting that. But
Yeah, Crash Holly was champion 37 to 45 times.
yeah, and
So hardcore champion.
yeah, so I don't know, but I think it could be interesting for the dynamic between Io and Bailey if Bailey's in the match. If Bailey wins,
there you go.
Or
now you're walking down my path.
Bailey doesn't win, but then tries to influence the cash in something, like I think that could make it a little bit more interesting. And I think the bigger thing is no matter how this match ends, I still think that we're going to see Bianca versus Charlotte, and I still want it to be a non-title thing. I really hope, we get that because
do you think that this spear is going to could lead to that? Like that's the catalyst, we'll say, to start their feud that leads to a match.
But aren't they both going to be good? But that would mean, well, maybe, but it would have to be after SummerSlam, not.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, maybe it just would have to get after that. But I mean, you have to think like SummerSlam is still 2-3 weeks away. So
you're doing the fatal four way.
I know, but then if we're going to talk about Charlotte and Bianca, then we're talking about like 6 to 8 weeks from now that would be the next time that they had a one-on-one match is what I mean.
Oh, so, yeah, but they'll do little sprinkles teasing that potential feud in their match, and that's what I'm excited for. That's what I'm excited for in the whole scheme of things, is that it's not that I'm excited to see who's going to be champion. It's more about, okay, you have these 5 women right now in this feud.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all intertwined / will be intertwined after this match. But how? How are we going to get there? How are we going to see a Bianca Charlotte match come to be? Are we going to see Io Sky cash in on somebody? And is that going to piss off Bailey? Or is Bailey going to interfere? Big air quotes there. Interfere with that cash in. So where my mind goes, it's not, oh, I'm excited for this match and all this. It's, yeah, I am. It's going to be a good match. All 5 or 4, whoever they're in it, are great athletes. But I just, you can do a lot with this. And for the first time in WWE for a long time, you actually have stories with substance going on in the women's division that do not involve a title.
I just hope that they continue that is all I'm saying. Like, I don't think that Bianca and Charlotte need to feud over a title. That's why I'm saying I hope that neither of them win because I think that they have what it takes to feud and carry a good story without the title being involved. And it's about time for even both of them. I mean, Bianca was just champion for over a year. Charlotte's been champion 8,000 times. Like, I think it's about time that we kind of like step away from the title picture for a bit for both of them and let other people be involved, because then again, who knows what's going to happen with Io Sky. The rumor was that the woman cash in is going to fail, but we need more Io Skies to be involved in the title picture, because like it gets tiresome when it's the same rotation of girls.
Yeah, I agree. David says, "What's up?" Sorry. David,
Hello. Hello. So then we had the Brawling Brutes versus Pretty Deadly, which unfortunately results in Elton allegedly being injured, because I don't know if we've seen any confirmation of it. It's just like allegedly. Which, I mean, it looked like it, but it doesn't mean that it's something that's going to keep him out or whatever, but we'll get into that. So this whole match only happened because of Pretty Deadly's interference in the US title match between Sheamus and Austin Theory last week. So that's why this match was put together. It was a good match, of course. It's a longer tag team match, of course, because of who was involved. And Pretty Deadly win, with Elton taking the padding off of the turnbuckle and taking advantage of the fact that Ridge is still dealing with a sore throat from when he was Samoan spiked. So he lands throat first into the turnbuckle. And then Elton hits him with a leg drop on top of the throat and makes it worse. So I had a couple thoughts from this. One, I'm glad that Pretty Deadly won, of course. Two, I'm ready for this feud to be over. Because there's no true real substance to this. I think it's just it's to me, it's just another reason why they need to split the tag titles. Because
100%.
we can't just keep having Pretty Deadly versus the Brawling Brutes for literally no reason. Like, as great as the matches are, because they're all European, they have that UK style, they're great, whatever, they're entertaining. We don't need to see it 18 times.
No.
You know, so I'm waiting for their, I don't know. And then, of course, I'm concerned about Elton being injured, and if it's bad, I'm just like, that really concerns me about what they're going to do with Pretty Deadly, because they've been doing really great since they were called up in the draft, and an injury right now just feels like...
I have a feeling that it's not the worst thing in the world, because they'll still have them on screen. They'll still do, TV time, backstage segments.
Yeah.
They can do social stuff. And the injury, if anyone is wondering, like, when did it happen? When do you think it happened? From when I was watching the second time, better, whatever. When I was watching the second time, it looks when Ridge grabbed him for the belly to belly, and when he grabbed him for the belly to belly and then flipped him over into Kit, then he landed on his shoulder, and you can see him grabbing that shoulder, and then he rolls out to the ring, and Sheamus goes up to the top, but if you look at the corner of your eye, the corner of your screen, he is talking to Kit and is saying, something along the lines of, my shoulder's out. It has to be.
Yeah.
And then Sheamus gets on the top rope, does a flying clothesline. Only one man took it, and it was Kit.
But, and this is, the thing that I think is like pretty astonishing from all of this is that they're not really super long-term veterans of wrestling. I mean, they're so young, so it's like they couldn't be. But I think you would not have noticed that if you didn't look for it, because I watched that match. I had no idea that something was wrong with him, because like I watched it, obviously. Hello.
We're talking
but
about it.
He did a really good job at not making it obvious or making it seem like something was changed or the finish was rushed or anything like that. So I mean, kudos to him, because my shoulder pops out of socket, as I've talked about on here, and it is not fun. So the fact that he finished that match, literally is the one who finished the match, and still didn't have any sort of indication that something was wrong. I mean, my boys are just true professionals.
They're just so tough. It's
are.
Awesome. It's incredible.
I know. So yeah, I just really hope that, like, as you said, that if it is an injury that is going to keep him out of the ring for a little bit, I at least hope that we're going to see him in segments or something, because I feel like this is not the time to have Pretty Deadly off TV. It's just
not. We need more of
No,
this.
no, no.
Yes, boy!
Yes, boy!
Yes, boy!
Yes, boy!
Yes, boy!
Yes, boy.
Yes, boy.
Yeah, boy. So we'll see. We'll have to keep like paying attention to see what like dirt sheets and stuff are saying. But I also am like looking at their Instagrams and stuff to be like, are you going to talk about it? Are you going to say anything? You know, but
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point.
I mean, a good thing is a separated shoulder hurts like a bitch, but it's not something that necessarily means you need surgery or you need to like be at home. So it just depends on the severity because of course you know, he could be Finn Balor up in here and you know, SummerSlam 7 years ago, but I don't
think that's the case. It wasn't that bad.
No, but what I'm saying is there are moments where separating your shoulder is very bad, but then there's moments like, you know, me running around and then landing on the ottoman oddly, and my shoulder just hangs out for about 10 seconds. There's just moments like that, and then it hurts. Yeah, and then it hurts for a week, you know? So hopefully it's one of those situations, but it's a lot less embarrassing than flopping on an ottoman, you know? Like he was actually doing something cool and like productive with his life, and I was just trying to impress my nephew. So anyway, then we go to Zelina Vega versus Bailey, which I didn't even really feel like I needed to say anything about that. It was fine. It was a filler match. I feel like it was basically just to obviously come to this moment where Shotzi is shown in a video package.
Yeah, this was awesome.
I was so here for this. Okay, because first of all, I didn't know this was happening, but I loved this because we've talked about Shotzi a lot, and we don't think that she's not talented or not capable. Her problem has always been that she is not wonderful in the ring, and that's nothing against her. It's just that she's inexperienced, obviously. But a lot of that inexperience shows in her matches, and so that's why we talk about it. But this video package, whoever came up with it, because if you guys don't know, she shaved her head because her sister is going through chemotherapy. So she shaved her head like in solidarity with her sister because, you know, it is something that has become pretty common over the last however many years, which I think is so sweet. So she was going to be cutting her hair anyway. So this whole angle was happening because it just timed well, I guess, with what was going on in her real life. But the direction that she took it, I'm like, yes, girl, this is what we need from you, because she did it so well, so convincingly. And that's why I said it felt like a Joker type of thing to me. And that's impressive because those are big shoes to fill, especially with the main people that people are talking about is Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, and then Heath Ledger. So this and it works. The green hair, like everything, it was just great. I am excited for where this goes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I loved that Io and Bailey were like, "What the fuck?" Like,
oh, they look scared. They looked fucking terrified.
Yeah.
That's where the direction you need to go with Shotzi, because I've liked Shotzi for a while.
Yeah.
It was just that when she got in the ring, you knew she had no chance. You didn't really believe in what she was bringing, you know, with her character. And now with this whole Joker thing, and the meaning too is that's special. You know, it's kind of one of those things where the stars align and you know you're going to make gold with it because that's out. And it was a very convincing package. Like I was very not terrified, but confused. Startled.
And the way they shot it. Yeah,
very,
well, and the way they shot it, I felt like was really good too.
Great,
like,
yeah. Great.
So that I felt like gave you more of that feeling. It wasn't just like her words and what she was saying and what she was doing. It was like the angles and stuff. It was great.
I'm excited to see where this goes. I would like to see her. Could we get Shotzi? Okay, my mind's going crazy. So we get the fatal four-way match. Somehow, Shotzi comes in, interferes, and costs Bailey the match. And then because Bailey's so pissed and Shotzi's still there, she tries to go and, you know, fight with Shotzi, and it costs Io Money in the Bank because we talked about how it might be a failed cash-in.
I mean, that would work.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good on the fly.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, we'll see. You know, we're going to be talking about another person that needs a character like uplift. So this was cool to see. But anyway, moving on to the bloodline. I don't know why I just said it like that.
Down since
So
day one ish.
we knew that Roman was missing this week's SmackDown. So Jay comes out thinking he's some sort of like rapper or something. I don't know what he like coming out with a jacket with like the no shirt on, being like with the grill.
I love that look. That might be my fall look.
Oh my god. Okay. So he just comes out and talks about how close him and Jimmy are, and they feel the same things at the same time, no matter what that feeling is: happy, sad, mad.
When he mad, I'm mad. When he's sad,
what?
I'm sad. when he mad, what? I'm mad. And when he hurt, I'm hurt too.
Yeah. I kind of like that he was playing it up with the audience.
Because brilliant.
That was one of the moments though that I feel wasn't coming from a disrespectful way for Jay, because a lot of the time the what chants are being said now to like mock whoever's in the ring because people don't want to listen. But obviously this is not one of those instances, because I mean, it's the bloodline, it's Jey Uso, like obviously that's not the case.
Oh,
so
they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah. And so Jay continues and he says he respects his family, but he is ready to disrespect every single part of Roman Reigns. And that's when Solo and Paul make their way to the ring. And Paul says that Roman and Jay are going to be having a discussion on the rules of engagement next week, which I was like, okay.
I feel like that's what you talk about with your girlfriend's dad.
You know it's just weird. I don't know what that means. But we're gonna get into that in a minute. And then he said that Jay sounds more like a tribal chief. So this is the thing. Here comes the manipulation from Paul. Jay's like, or he tells Jay, like, you're sounding more and more like a tribal chief every day. And basically it's like, you don't even know it, Jay. Like
you're so tribal chiefy. It's so good.
You're so tribally. Oh my god. And Jay's just like, what? Like you can tell that Jay's just like wants to punch him in the face immediately.
Oh
and I'm
my
like,
lord.
So he then blames Jay for basically every single thing that happened last week, which included Jimmy being hurt, which I'm assuming is fake.
Oh, that's so
okay. Well, because then there were some people reporting it was like real, and I was like, I don't think so.
Well, yeah, everyone's hurt. He's just hurt with something.
Yeah. So then he keeps going on and listing the people that are going to never forgive him, including like his dad, his mom, Roman. And then Solo grabs the mic, and this was weird because it's like you never hear Solo talk.
Remember when Kane did this? Remember when Kane had the voice box and he did that? Like that's what it felt like with Solo grabbing the mic. You're like, what are you about to do right now?
Well, and even Paul was like,
everyone's reactions are the best.
So Solo grabs the mic and says that he won't forgive him either. And then they get into brawling, basically. And interestingly, Jay gets out of the Samoan spike.
Because he's main event Jey Uso, baby.
Which is kind of crazy because that is a protected finisher. I don't think that he's really missed it that much.
No, it's if you're gonna have him miss it, have him miss it against guys like Jey Uso.
Yeah, it can't be anybody else at this moment. So then Jay also hits them with a bunch of super kicks, including Paul, which, oh my god, the way that he sold it. And then he got up and he was like, I was like, what is, like, Paul, you've been around wrestling long enough that you don't need to look like that. But
oh, it's awesome. It was incredible. The kick.
Yeah.
The penguin just waddling on the ring, on the mat. I know, and then it's incredible.
Even his suit was just like, I don't know, just felt like comic booky because it was like the navy with the bright pinstripes and whatever.
The gray pinstripes. Very weird.
It was crazy.
It was very weird.
So what do you think we should expect next week? Like what exactly is this conversation going to be about?
It's going to be laying out their match. It's going to be a tribal contract signing, essentially.
Okay.
Or a bloodline contract signing. Where they have the table. They may not have a written contract just for story purposes, but they're
Mm-hmm.
going to lay out what the rules are. And yeah, so Richard asked this because he asked a couple, and we'll answer them. So the champ does.
Oh, okay.
I mean, does the rule of engagement mean that there will be a stipulation to the Roman and Jay match? I don't think it's going to be just one. You know what I mean? Not like it's a tables match or a cage match. It's going to be something where along the lines of if he does this, or no interference, or something along those lines, where it has to do with the competitors and outside participants.
I am guessing that there might not be a stipulation. I don't know that there needs to be. However, if there is one, I wouldn't be surprised if it's something that is very centered around them. Kind of like when the Great Khali had like the Punjabi prison match or whatever. Like that was so obviously a Great Khali thing. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like that, like a Samoan tribal influence. I don't know, something that we've probably never seen before. I wouldn't be surprised. It's SummerSlam. We have to think about this is WrestleMania 2.0, WrestleMania of the summer. So they might go big and try and think of something like crazy like that.
Something like a pitch black match, but Samoan.
Yeah, and like better executed.
Well, obviously it won't
Yeah.
have Mountain Dew as a sponsor.
And it won't be in the dark.
That's true.
But yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if it would be something like that. Hopefully not as gimmicky, obviously, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is something that like is very much built upon like their current story, their family, etc.
I would agree with that for sure. And then he had another question here. Solo betray Roman, costing Roman the title, and Roman turns face after being betrayed by Solo and Paul. Too soon.
Too soon. I do think that everything that we have seen, I think it's just reaffirming even more that Solo is going to be the one that dethrones him, or at least he's going to turn on Roman eventually. My idea is we're going to see Solo go full into I am the tribal chief's number 2 for a while. Ooh. And I think that we're going to have history repeat itself. We're going to get to a point where Roman is going to push Solo too far to do something horrific to Jay or Jimmy. And that is when we are going to see, like, I kind of want it to be like a Sami Zayn situation where like he wanted Sami to beat the crap out of Kevin with the chair, and Sami was just like, no, I can't do it. I feel like there's, my prediction at this point anyway, is that Roman's going to ask Solo to do something like that to Jimmy or Jay, and it's just going to become too much, and that's when Solo is going to turn. Yeah, I don't think Roman's going to turn face. Yeah, I think that's going to be like later on. I think it's going to be once he realizes that he has nothing and that he lost all of his family, then he might be like, oh,
he has to have his come to Jesus moment. Where
but I don't. That's not going to be until Mania or
at least minimum.
Yeah, it's too good right now. We can't see. We have to see like the complete demise of the tribal chief, like slowly but surely. Like I want to see the turmoil, the inner turmoil, the mental breakdowns. I want to see that. Because we talked about it. I want to see if he's capable of doing that,
Yeah, exactly. And does Jimmy betray Jay? Some fans saying or sees plants if the outcome. No, that would be what we call a cheap pop with no actual way to connect it for an entertaining or interesting story for their match. Like it just doesn't happen, and you can't break up. Like they don't want to do it. WWE definitely doesn't want to do it. So fans can keep talking about it, but you know what
they do want to have that happen eventually.
You have to. It's like not now, but Jay versus Jimmy needs to happen.
Because in the interview with Ariel Helwani that I sent you,
the unbiased journalist,
if you watched it, you would know that Ariel does ask them if that is something that has ever been pitched to them, and they said no, that no one has said it, and they haven't said it either, but that it would be something that they would want to try in the future because it would remind them of like when they were kids, of just like wrestling each other and whatever. So I don't know if that's ever going to be something. We'll see. Maybe it'll be something down the road, but I feel like we just saw the like battle between Jay and Jimmy because Jimmy decided that he didn't want to be in the bloodline anymore, and then Jay was torn. So I feel like we kind of don't need to see that again.
No, you already saw that conflict. You got your conflict. It's not going to happen now.
Yeah,
agreed.
Exactly. So,
and then do we think Jay wins at SummerSlam?
No.
Dickie thinks no.
No,
we do too because he doesn't need it. There's no reason to put. He doesn't need it right now.
I'm sticking to my prediction.
I
I don't think Jay needs the title. What?
I want him to win.
Why? You're such a flip-flopper.
Well, no, because then my prediction would be right. That's why.
Yeah,
But unbiased me, no, I don't want him to win right now, but to shove it in Jericho Robinson's face, absolutely, I want him to win.
I love how that's like your basis for it instead of it just being like sick. That
he
it would be
laughed
Solo.
at me when he said, "Yeah, no way."
Well, he's already gonna be wrong because it's probably not gonna be Cody Rhodes anyway. So you win by default because like
it's a member of the Onawani
if
family.
it's a member of the bloodline, then you're closer than him. So
yeah, blood is thicker than water.
Yeah, I'm still thinking that Jay kind of got his like undisputed championship moment by being the first one to pin Roman in 3.5 years or whatever. I do think that Solo, if any of them are going to be, I still feel like it's going to be the bloodline member that does it, and I think it's going to be Solo. I mean, I have said it so many times, but like they want to push him. He's the only one who's a single star, and I feel like, he just turned 30. I think, like, come on. It's going to be Solo, okay? That's what it is. That's what I'm saying.
Solo. He's riding solo. He's riding solo. So yeah, Micah with a shout out to you.
Yay!
We love that. We love the shout out. Maybe the champ gets one next time. Please, Micah. That'd be great. All right. So Sarah, go you with the next topic. What do we talk about? Yeah!
The U.S. title Open Invitational. I thought the winner was surprising.
Let's go.
This match was Grayson Waller versus AJ Styles versus Butch versus Santos Escobar. My goodness, I had a hiccup. It was a good match. It delivered. Obviously, we've said this before. Like, usually WWE is really good about delivering great matches when it's like 3, 4, 6.
They're very good at that.
Members.
I will agree with you. Yeah, they are good with multi-man matches.
Yeah, and I really thought that Grayson Waller was going to win. Just because of my prediction was that Grayson Waller was going to win. Then LA Knight was going to win next week because they're allegedly trying to push him as a babyface. So it made sense that they would pick him to go against Waller, to then go against Austin Theory. And Waller was the only heel in the match. So I was like, all right, it's going to be Waller. But it was Santos Escobar. So this is where I get a little bit nervous, and maybe you can tell me that I'm wrong, but this makes me feel like LA Knight is not going to win. And the reason I think that is, unless they're just, I swear, they're just kind of like fucking with us when it comes to LA Knight. Like, I don't know what they're doing, because it's like they didn't have him on the show at Madison Square Garden. They had him come out. Then they don't have him on the show last night. They just have him come out and say a couple things to get like a yay, and so that they can post it. Then all week they're like interacting with the fans who keep finding LA Knight like in random videos and commercials and TV shows and infomercials, whatever. But then you want us to believe that you're going to push him to be a good guy, but then you pick a good guy to win the first match. Then when you look at who's going to be there next week, he's technically the only heel in the match. And so I'm like, I don't know. It's possible if they're trying to push him as a babyface that, we've seen this already with Triple H, that he doesn't seem to care really about who is who and whatever. But I don't know. I don't know about you, but I'm just a little bit like, I feel like they might be messing with us, thinking that LA Knight is going to win and it's going to be like fucking like Sheamus or something. And I'm just going to be like, why?
No, Sarah, I'm here to just wash your
to set things straight because I'm a champion.
Yeah, that's how disrespect that. That's how you respect the champ like that.
That's how I picture you when you talk. Just like, apparently.
All right, well, the champ is going to speak right now. And when the champ speaks, you listen. So listen up. I'm going to wash your worries away right now, Sarah, with all that. Because, yes, what you're saying it makes sense. 1,000%. However, you're focusing too much on the pushing babyface. Because they don't need to. And also, so what they're doing is that there's no real need for him to wrestle. They just need him to come out. Fans just want to see LA Knight. Okay, they just want to say that they went and saw LA Knight. And the fact that he is, slowly getting his push or whatnot, and all this interaction, that's a good thing. That means that, okay, it's coming. But last night, if you saw all those packages with the other participants in the Invitational, you have Rey Mysterio doing one. You have Sheamus doing one. Who's the third person in it. It was Sheamus,
Cameron
Mysterio.
Grimes.
Oh, Cameron Grimes. Yeah, like Cameron Grimes is not winning that match, but you have him do something like that, so he can get his face on screen. People know who Cameron Grimes is, so that
To
in
the
a few weeks,
moon.
to the moon. I love Cameron Grimes, but not in this match. So, like, they just want to get his face on there. Did you notice how they all had pre-recordings? And who did theirs live? Mr. L.A. Knight.
I think
So
people have said
they,
it like when they talk about him being similar to Stone Cold or whatever, right? People
The
are
Rock,
saying
yeah.
that they feel like this is actually not like disrespectful, that they can say that they've been saying that maybe they can push LA Knight the way that they did with Stone Cold, where he was like never really a true babyface. He was kind of like the anti-hero. So it was like you cheered for him, but then you booed him like the following week, and it was just kind of like depending on the week. I feel like that's kind of what they're doing with LA Knight, and it makes the most sense because like not all of the good guys need to be squeaky clean. And that's a thing that I think we get tired of. And that's probably why I tend to not be like huge fans of the baby faces unless your name is John Cena. And you can do nothing wrong. But basically nothing is too cheesy. But I think that that's like the best way to go with him, because he's the good guy with an edge that you still are, that not predictable, is still witty and can still like cut you up with his words, you know, but he can also like be an asshole when he needs to, which is something that you don't see from the good guys in wrestling, at least not recently. So again, people want to rag on him and say whatever they want about him being a copy or whatever. It's the old school vibe that I feel like we all have wanted, and then people are just complaining about it because like they don't like him. I don't know, but
no, because people want something to complain about. They get off on complaining about things.
I swear, it's just bizarre.
So to put the naysayers in their place, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, John Cena, like, but all those guys are just the same version of one another in their era, honestly.
Yeah.
And what were the times like during that era? What did the fans need to be that larger than life figure to look up at and say that is our guy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that is the face that we want of name your wrestling company. So that's where I'm kind of getting this vibe with LA Knight is, yeah, he's not the face. You have Rollins, you have Roman, you have those guys, but you need that edge. There's nobody in WWE right now that has such a genuine edge to him,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just him. I mean, Cody Rhodes, but back to squeaky clean thing.
Yeah.
So you have the Cody Rhodes where it's like, yeah, he's, Captain America and all this stuff, but you need Iron Man.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what LA Knight is. Yeah. So I am all for it. Every time he speaks and he is on my TV, I stop what I'm doing and I put him in that same category as the wise man and watch everything listen to everything he says. I mean, and I don't care that he comes out, does that. It was 5 minutes and then he leaves, because I waited all day for those 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it, and it was the best. And that's what the fans want too, that are at the arena. What do you think? If they want to see LA Knight and have, it be more of a realistic, instead of just him coming out, hitting his finishing move, saying a few catchphrases, and then leaving. No, he actually talked up the Invitational. You're gonna watch next week because of that. And then he hit him with the catchphrases that the crowd goes absolutely nuts for.
Mm-hmm.
And then he promoted the show on FS1 next week. Like, the dude is a rock star.
I get to watch SmackDown live because it's on FS1. It's going to be on live, like East Coast time. I know. I'm like, why can't it always be on FS1? Because otherwise, I don't know. So, but that's the thing. I don't know why it is when it's on FS1, because obviously it's all part of Fox. So I'm not really sure, but I'm very excited because then I don't have to like sit there and read spoilers and then have to watch it again. I can literally watch it as everyone else is and participate in the Twitter trends.
We love when you participate.
As it's happening, so that when I'm tweeting about it 4 hours later and get no responses to my tweets, people are not going to be like, well, when I'm like fangirling over Pretty Deadly and then no one says anything, because people are like, I saw this 4 hours ago. Why are you Just
How are
talking
you
about it
so
now.
behind, girl?
I mean, not a lot of people like Pretty Deadly that follow me anyway, so I guess that might be part
I'm
of it. But
shocked that you're. I'm shocked.
my 95% following of NFL fans don't like Pretty Deadly. Weird.
Should.
So speaking of the United States title,
What?
Austin Theory. What?
Well, Richard says this is where he was going. He's kind of.
I know, but we're not there yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry. 3.
Anyway, okay, so Austin Theory was on commentary during this match, and it received a lot of criticism online. Mostly because people are tired of his character, which I just want to be like, get to the back of the line, brothers, because we've been saying this shit for how many months now? How many months?
We're ahead of the game, Sarah.
I know.
Really
I know.
are.
They just don't watch us, so they don't even know.
Well, the 4 people that are, thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, so people were kind of like going in on him because he basically wasn't saying a whole lot of different things while he was on commentary. Basically it was just talking about beating John Cena at WrestleMania. I think people said that he said it like 4 times throughout the entire match. And it's July. We probably shouldn't still be talking about something that happened in the beginning of April.
No, yeah, I just checked. It's July.
And then people were coming for him again because then they did this like little segment with him backstage of Kathy Kelly being like, "Oh, it seems like you now have a beef with Michael Cole. Like, do you have any response?" And Michael Cole, and then he answered and he was like, "Yeah, Michael, you're nothing," and just laughs and like walks away. And people were like, and what I thought was interesting was from what I saw, and I'm not saying, you know, that it means anything or that it's the majority opinion, but from what I could see, a lot of people were not saying anything negative about him specifically, other than he is, like we said about Charlotte, trying to be something that he's not, and he's just not at a point in his career where he can convincingly be a bad guy. Because everyone that I've seen talk about Austin Theory, whether they met him or even from interviews, I told you that's why I even like him, because he was such a nice person. Yeah. And I think that that's part of his problem is that he is such a nice person that it's difficult for him to tap into a side that is cocky and arrogant and whatever, all these things that he's not naturally. And sometimes people are just not good at that. That's why a lot of wrestlers will be a specific thing throughout their career because they thrive at it. Hence why we've said countless times that Charlotte needs to be a heel for the rest of her career because she is a shitty babyface because she's just not good at it.
That's not believable.
So
that's, and if you're the queen and you have all these tags or titles attached to you that scream, you know, royalty, arrogance, pompous, all that stuff, and the look, like you can't be a good guy.
Yeah.
When you're, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So I think with Theory is obviously I think they need to take the title off him because they've failed at really doing a whole lot during his reign. And I think that's what's going to happen at SummerSlam, probably no matter who ends up beating him. I think will be the champion, hopefully LA Knight. But then I do think that they need to do something because even some people were talking about bringing back The Way and having him back because he thrived there. So, and that's the thing too, is he basically went from being in The Way, getting brought up to the main roster, and they're like, you know what, you're going to be the next Drew McIntyre circa 2011 or whatever year it was, you know?
11.
And Vince McMahon basically squashed him. Maybe unknowingly before anything.
Oh, it's
and I
absolutely
feel like it's just,
unknowingly. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, well, and I just think it's been a downward spiral since then. So I think that they need to figure something out because he has everything, in my opinion, has all the tools in his belt to be good. It's just this whole thing is not working.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay. I'm like,
I just have nothing else to add.
I was like, I just talked that whole time, but
holy shit!
What?
No, we gave Austin Theory a lot of time.
Oh yeah, no, well, it's just because, like, you know,
but we care. You could, and it's one thing if to give him time, and we're just bashing him and he's awful and all this, but we see potential, and that's
he's so young.
So young.
He's only 25. Like, he doesn't have to be at the best in his career at this moment. A lot of wrestlers don't even enter WWE at 23, 22, whatever he was when he got into NXT.
Finn had to have entered like 30.
Finn?
Yeah. Fergie.
Yeah, he was older than 30, I think. It was
That's
like,
what I mean.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, a lot of the time, like, you're really lucky. Now it's more common just because of they have the performance center, so they're bringing people in, and then
indies
but, like,
are a lot more prevalent.
Yeah, so but before it's like you were working the indies, you were working Impact, you were doing this, you were doing that, and then you didn't get noticed until you were like 28. And it's just the grind because like there are so many people that are trying to be professional wrestlers that WWE is that mountain that you have to try and climb to just get noticed or get a tryout or whatever. But now things are a little bit easier, and they are looking at people who are like 18 and trying to bring them in. So
you see, have you heard of Nick Wayne?
The guy in Impact who was like, or I'm sorry, in AEW who was like 15, 16 or something.
He's 18 years old. Wrestle Swerve.
Yeah,
Kid's electric.
I don't even want to talk about it. Moving on. So next week we have part 2 to the United States Championship Invitational, which will be LA Knight versus Rey Mysterio versus Cameron Grimes versus Sheamus. I kind of already hinted at this that I'm still not really sure. I feel like it would just be a giant mistake to not have it be LA Knight. And that would be because if it's not LA Knight, then I am 100% on board with Triple H is just messing with us on purpose. Because it would just be mean. It would be mean. Just mean.
Oh, that would be evil if they do not have LA Knight go over here.
Well, and
like Cameron. Yeah, go.
I was just gonna say I feel like it would be mean to LA Knight too.
Oh, it would be so mean. It's just the way that he's so over right now with the crowd, and the other 3 guys in this match are 2 of them are in that veteran stage where they just need to be in these matches for the name value.
Right.
And then you have Cameron Grimes in there who just needs to be in this match to be in a match. Get him on television. Yeah. So basically this match is just designed for LA Knight to win. And if he doesn't, well, we're going to be a little upset about it. But this is where, and let me bring it up here. Dickie had it. Where is it? Yes, here it is. LA Knight and Escobar are feuding. That would be a great feud because yes, it's 2 baby faces or whatever, but you have that heel element of LA Knight already where he just palms like, oh, I'm better than you and all this stuff. And LWO is all about family and we do this together. And it's the cheesy, positivity and all that shit I say to myself every day. And then you have LA Knight, who's just this guy. And the seeds were already planted a little bit for an LWO LA Knight feud when he was on the bump with Zelina, and Zelina Vega wanted none of him, nothing to do with him. So the seeds are already planted there. So you just have them in this match. He wins it, and then boom. Here's the thing. Thank you, Extreme Life Matt Hardy, for this little tidbit. You already have his first opponent for when he defends the title.
Well, and he's the only one I feel like people would actually be interested in seeing potentially against Austin Theory. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, Rey Mysterio, because like you said, veteran status and it's Rey Mysterio. So like but Rey Mysterio is not going to go against Escobar. That's not going to happen. Cameron Grimes versus Escobar. No one could give a single fuck about that. And that's no
Bezos TV to the max.
Yeah, I mean, no disrespect to them, but I'm just saying, like, people would be like, oh, okay, let me go get a snack, And it's like with Sheamus, like, he literally just had a United States Championship match. So it's like LA Knight is the only reason that people are going to want to watch and they're going to think that he has a chance. But yeah, I hope that we aren't wrong because I'm going to be adding Triple H on Twitter and being like, excuse me, sir.
Paul,
how dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you? And then the last little thing, which was interesting.
This was very interesting.
We get a clip of a car pulling up, and the Street Profits are standing there, and then they were like, "Are you ready to talk?" And then it's Bobby Lashley, who has been gone for however many weeks.
Where's his trophy? He didn't have his trophy, Sarah.
Shut up. So my nephew is going to be really excited because he's obsessed with Bobby Lashley and loves to be Bobby Lashley because he does this now when he does his entrance and stuff. Always also has to like take his shirt off before he does Bobby Lashley because it's just not authentic. It's
not authentic. He's not wearing a shirt, so why should I? Brilliant.
Yeah. So I'm intrigued by this because Lashley's been gone. The Street Profits haven't been on TV that much recently. And I kind of am hoping that this is going to be a heel faction because, again, Bobby Lashley, he can do everything. Obviously, people love him. People love to hate him. But he's just so much more interesting when he's like an ass-kicking bad guy. And I feel like the Street Profits would be amazing as heels. But I don't know if they're willing to explore that yet. Because of how over they are. But regardless, I love this because if we're not going to get the Hurt Business, then give me something else.
Bobby Lashley's at the stage of his career right now where managing a faction wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I mean, the man's 50 plus years old, I'm pretty sure.
No, I think he's like,
he's 50. I looked this up and was shocked, baffled.
He's 46. So
are you serious?
Yeah. I was like, I saw someone correct you in a YouTube comment and then I forgot to check it. So I was like, I had that in my mind. And so I just checked. Yeah, he's 46.
Who the hell's 51?
Your
I don't
mom?
know. I wish she's 40 years older than me. So,
Queen.
What I get from this is that we're going to have the Street Profits finally turn heel and be just the guys that, we're screwed out of everything. If you are paying attention to the Easter eggs, Montez Ford has been screwed out of so many matches.
Yeah.
Including the Money in the Bank one with the shoulder up against LA Knight. They're all little telltale signs that
the Pretty Deadly thing too.
The Pretty Deadly thing with the shirt. They're all telltale signs that he's pissed, fed up, and just wants what's his. And then you're going to see the different side. And let's take a little bit of a stroll outside the box even more with this. To be a future star in WWE, I mean, we'll stick with WWE, not just in wrestling. You need to be able to master both being a babyface and being a heel. Because when you're champion, you may be the heel champion for one reign, and then the next year, the champ that the fans want to, sign or be, cheer and all that. So, because he hasn't really explored that side of his, persona, and to have him align himself with a guy like Bobby Lashley too, who I think the only thing missing from his repertoire is that he's just not a high flyer, which is totally fine.
Yeah,
and Montez has that element. Like, he's a gigantic human.
Yeah.
It's awesome that they're doing this because it now legitimizes the Street Profits a little bit. And you know what? It just popped in my mind. I want your thoughts on this.
Okay.
It kind of gives more of a, like a hipper, newer Authors of Pain.
Yeah, I can see that.
More personality for sure.
Well,
way more personality. That's a given. But in the sense that the Street Profits need to come out of this faction because of everything I just said with a chip on their shoulder, like massive family-sized bag of chips on their shoulder.
Well, and Lashley can too because of like being held off WrestleMania and having to be the Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial winner or whatever. Yeah.
And go down that road with like kind of Bobby Lashley. That's a good point. With you can kind of peel back the curtain a little bit because that's what they do in this stage of wrestling where, you're hearing things and you can kind of say things that the fans wouldn't have known 10 years ago, but now they do because social media exists. So now you can say that as a reason why you turn heel and went to these guys because we're fed up and all this. And then you just go on a rampage. Maybe they take down the tag team champions, or maybe they feud with another tag team or whatnot, and they become tag team champions for SmackDown. It just, there's a lot of avenues you can go down with this. And I'm happy that they're doing this with the Street Profits because you're right. There does need to be more heel factions.
Yeah. Well, and they're utilizing factions so much.
Thank God.
In WWE now, which is great because I know we're fans. Obviously,
we're fans of factions.
Right. I am such a stan for factions.
I am such a
rat. I am such a rat for factions. You don't even understand. So I would love to see something like this, especially because Bobby Lashley is fun to watch. He's one of the big guys that I think that people can stomach to watch every single week.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there are some big guys, that are not fun to watch all the time. And then the Street Profits should not be sitting in catering as much as they have been recently, because they're so good and so entertaining that I don't care how they get them back on TV. As long as we get to see them on TV and get to enjoy watching them in the ring and entertain us, then I'm for it. I just hope that it is something that is elevating them. Oh, snap. Sorry. I do hope that it is something that is elevating them and that makes sense. Because, I don't want them on TV and just being squashed every single week. But
you're right.
I think that this has the potential to be like really, really interesting.
Do you remember when the Street Profits first got to the main roster and they were just crashing every backstage interview with their solo cups and whatnot?
I think so. Yeah.
I had no idea who they were at the time because I wasn't that big of an NXT except for the takeover.
Yeah.
And usually when that happens, I'm like, oh, here we go, another failed call up, or oh, they're trying to push it too hard. But I didn't say anything when they popped on the screen. I just listened to them, and I just was like, all right, who are these guys? They were so goddamn entertaining that I didn't care that they messed up this interview just to give their own commentary.
Yeah.
And then look where they've came. Look how far they've come.
Yeah.
And that I actually think that both could stand alone, be pretty. Well, Montez is in his own, but D'Angelo Hawkins or Angelo Dawkins. There's a lot of football.
Kurt Hawkins. I mean,
there's a lot of potential for him as well to be a singles guy. Maybe not a WWE champion, but like U.S. Intercontinental. Like put a title on him. Let's see what happens. I like it.
I am with you.
Ooh, Dickie asking, does Shelton and Shedrick?
I think he means Cedric.
Shedrick.
I like that. Shedrick.
Damn it. That's I'm gonna be calling him that from now on. Oh, damn it, Dickie. Maybe the tag team from Raw while the Street Profits are locked to SmackDown. Well, here's the thing too. I know they're on Raw. Is Bobby Lashley a free agent?
No, I think he was put on SmackDown.
I'm looking this up.
I'm pretty sure he went to SmackDown.
I don't not believe you if that makes sense, but I want to double check this because I also said Bobby Lashley is 51 years old. So
yeah, he's 46. So
he's 46. I can't do math. Bobby Lashley WWE draft. Let's try that. Oh, Bobby Lashley was the 3rd round pick of the draft. He was in the 3rd round to SmackDown. So maybe not with the Street Profits. With Shedrick and Sheldon. But, maybe they do their own thing. Oh, MVP. Oh, here's a good MVP, Omos, Shedrick, and Shelton.
Shedrick and Shelton. Shedrick and Shelton make a good team. They are the hot business. I feel like it's like you have like the headgear.
Oh yeah, the mouth. Yeah,
you have the headgear braces, and you're like Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin make the hot
They're
business.
free agents. So there you go. What if we're getting a Hurt Business reunion on SmackDown?
But I would kind of, I don't know. I don't know. We'll have
I'd love it. There it is. Cedric and Shelton do not need to be in they did their shit with the Hurt Business. Like they won their titles, they did it. Now it's time for them to be wrestlers, but more in a role of Jamie Noble and the other guy for security, J&J Security. For Seth.
Mercury?
Joey Mercury. That's
how dare you forget?
I'm sorry. I just remember
part
Nitro.
Yeah.
I just remember only NM. So I'm a big
Eminem. You know who has a really underrated entrance song? Melina.
No, it's so annoying.
Melina's entrance is a bomb entrance. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's the one where it's like
yeah,
it's M&M's.
It's iconic.
Oh, it's
I love
it. Noise to me.
You're such a hater. No, I love it.
Well, I like her entrance.
Yeah, because you're a pervert.
Okay. I'm a man. I just said I like it. I said nothing.
You're a pervy little worm. You pervy worm.
Said nothing about the entrance except that I like it, and you
pervy little rat.
You assumed, Sarah.
You pervy rat.
You know what you do? What happens when you assume?
You're a little nasty rat. You little
make
rat.
An ass out of you. And
rat boy. You little pervy rat boy.
I'm pretty close to Dot, so comes with territory. Could add Bianca as well.
Maybe.
It could happen. That's probably in the works too. I'm agreeing with you, Dickie. But yeah, that's it. It's SmackDown. Yay! No hicimos.
I need to go in the pool.
Yeah, you need to go in the pool. That's why we're gonna just wrap this up a lot quicker by me telling you to just go to Sara's YouTube channel. Okay, Sara's YouTube channel has everything that you need to stay connected with us. Tweet at us. It has all the accounts down there. Subscribe, hit that button. We have the archives for all the shorts that are cut from these episodes. So if you don't have an hour and 5 minutes and 30 seconds to sit down with us and recap SmackDown like we do, we got the shorts. You want to just talk, you listen to LA Knight, you don't really care about what's going on in the women's division. Well, we got it all for you right there in shorts. So go check those out. And then, that's really it, because everything's in the description, our Twitters, our Instagrams, TikTok, we're there too. So go check that. Link is in the description for all those. And that's all we got for you. Sarah's going to go hop in the pool. I'm going to go hang out with my peeps because that's what a champion does. Thank you for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. We will see you. Oh, by the way, that's actually a little announcement. I will be going to the Matt Hardy show on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock at Kowloon live podcast. I will be tweeting and taking videos and stuff.
So no Raw Rewind is what you're saying.
That's what, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll hop on by myself.
Who knows? Maybe just go live by the pool. Maybe. Well, tune in. Thank you guys for God bless. Remember, you can do it. All you got to do is try. We'll see you when we see you. Yeah.